Hello. I wanted to do a very short video on Bach remedies for the emotions, because I really wanted to emphasize that um, we are only looking at the emotions. You can have something wrong with you physically, but because it works on the emotions, you're having to think about more than just, oh, I've got a painful back or something like that. So I'm looking at the little slide that you've got. It's just got 8 slides on it: Bach Flower Remedies and the emotions. And the second page says that by concentrating on the emotions, not the disease, the body has the best chance to right itself. As Dr. Bach said in that earlier, in the history one, I said that he felt that people got better physically because their bodies were free to heal themselves. And this is something that complementary therapies do as a whole, actually, because what we do is help the body to balance. That all the therapies really that I taught at my school and that our therapy aid therapists do are to do that: balance the body, be it reflexology, massage, Bowen, Reiki. They're all to do with balancing the body, and this is for balancing the body, and that's called homeostasis, when the body and that's when the body can heal itself. It's not that the therapy is doing it or the remedies are doing it, it's allowing the body to do what it can do, because it's always fighting to get back to balance. And he felt that the negative states, Dr. Bach, that they were responsible for the disease. Now, I used to teach stress management years ago, and that was one of the statistics that is so well known now, is that, well, it's over 70% definitely, but probably more like 80% of any disorder or disease is down to stress. Stress affects our body in such a way, you've heard of the fight or flight. Well, when your body's under pressure, your whole body systems change. Your digestive system virtually shuts down, because the last thing you need when you're in a situation where you've got to fight or run is think, oh, sorry, sorry about that. You've got to think of, you don't think of, just turn that off, of having a sandwich. You think, oh, I need a cheese sandwich, and somebody's, and you've got to run away from something. You wouldn't, would you? So you don't need your digestive system at that time. So you can imagine, if you're under prolonged stress, then your digestive system not working really well, you would end up with digestive problems like IBS. When I'm doing a class, I wouldn't ask for hands, because I know that probably nearly 90% of the people are going to say they've got some form of IBS or some sort of digestive problems. And doctors are realizing more and more now that the gut health is so important and vital for the rest of our body. It's got its own brain, apparently. And so it's really important to keep that healthy. Our skin gets affected, our mouth gets affected. Imagine when you're giving a talk and you might get a dry mouth. That's because the saliva's all dried up in your mouth. Your heart starts pumping more blood around in it when you're under stress, because if you were going to do a marathon, that would be great. You'd need all the blood to be shunted from your stomach and your digestive system to your muscles, wouldn't you? Because that's what you would be needing to run. And that's fine in the short term, but in the long term, it means that your body is under pressure and your heart's under pressure and your blood pressure would go up, because you're in an unnatural state of readiness for running, when actually you're not running anywhere. And every single system of your body, so that could be your bones, your muscles, your skin, people get breakouts, every system that you can think of is affected by stress. So if we can get to the stress levels and bring them down, then the body can right itself, and that's just what it will do. So it's not the physical symptoms, as I say, it's the emotional cause, and that's what we need to take into account. One of the things that we'll be learning about later on, this is still the introductory part, don't forget, so it's just an overview. There's no one remedy for gout or ME or any other physical problem. Someone's got sciatica. So different people suffering from the same problem will take different remedies. And there's one of the worksheets that you'll be doing later on is looking at someone who, 3 different people that say, oh, I always get pains after a meal. And the next one says, oh, I always get pains after a meal. And another one says, I always get pains after a meal. And then we're looking at the personalities for those 3 people, they're all very different. And one is worried about the family, one has got such high standards that they're making themselves poorly through doing too much, and the other one has also got, they've got a particular worry. So you wouldn't think, oh, well, they've got this problem, therefore they need that. It's looking at that person as a whole that's important. So it's to support the person when they have got an illness and addressing the depression, the anxiety, the trauma, the fear, and other emotional aspects that they may be stopping them from feeling better. And one thing to reassure you is that it's absolutely safe for all. You can use it on the newest born baby, and it can be put on the fontanella for a baby, or it can be put on the wrist. The mother can take the remedies safely, and it will come through on the second breastfeed to the baby. So if sometimes births are so traumatic that the baby's in fear because it's had this nice warm watery home that it's been happy living in, suddenly shocked into, and it could have had a job to get out as well. So the mother's in shock, the baby's in shock. You know, it's not all like, all lovely, here's the baby and you're all feeling great. So the mother would definitely need something after the baby. The father would need something because he's been experiencing the shock of seeing the mother in such a dreadful place. The anguish. He would need, for shock, he would need the Bach remedies, the one that we all know and love, the rescue remedy. But along with that, he would need red chestnut, because that's definitely one that would help for someone that's over worrying about a relative. So rescue remedy would be absolutely great to have in any circumstance, but for specific problems, you need something a bit more. And so you could use it on kittens, you can use it on dogs. People often put the, on a kitten, you'd put it on their paws, because they're not likely, they're fussier than dogs. They're not going to just lick it out of the bowl. Whereas you could put it in the dog's bowl or put it in their food. That would be perfectly fine. A lot of people use rescue remedy when there's fireworks going, for instance, because the animals are frightened. But animals have got personalities just like humans have. And so if you have a pet, it's quite easy to know what they might be feeling, and because you know their situation. And the book that I showed you, the what was it called, Bach Flower Remedies for Animals, would give you the answer. Elderly people taking lots and lots of medication could have it without any problem at all. It would not contraindicate any medication. So that's really great to know. If somebody can't, because it's in brandy, you can now buy it in glycerine if somebody can't take that for any reason. But just to reassure you that babies can happily have this with the brandy that's diluted in. Often their medications have got stronger stuff in them anyway, and you could put it in the feeding bottle. As I say, you can put it on the fontanella, on the wrist, and the baby can have it that way. You wouldn't drop 4 drops straight on their tongue on a baby. For an adult, you could, if they were so poorly, you could just put it in their water and they could sip it if they're really, really poorly. There's lots and lots of ways that you can take it. So although there's only 38 remedies, between them they cover every possible mental state, and that's quite hard to understand really, because there's only 38 remedies and there must be more than 38 different states of mind. The largest number that he ever gave, Dr. Bach, at one time was, he would put it in a bottle like this. It was 7 different remedies, 2 drops of 7 different remedies as usual, but he once gave 9 and that was the most he ever did. He thought 7 should be the maximum, and only very, very rarely would you need to go up to 9 different remedies. So if you look at, if you thought of 2 different people needing the same set of remedies, which might not be unusual, but their component emotions would be at different stages. Because if someone was feeling very sorry for themselves and also feeling really grumpy with other people, and then someone else had a situation where you thought, well, they are feeling sorry for themselves and grumpy, but you think, well, there is a reason for it, there'd be 2 different people, can you see? So that 2 different reasons for taking the same one. So they are different mental states, but virtually they needed the same one. I don't know if I'm making that clear. It has been worked out, and I'm not a mathematician, it has been worked out that there's so many combinations. And you can imagine if you were a safe cracker and you were trying to guess the numbers, I think they go up to 10 or 20, don't they, on a safe? Well, you could be there for a few years trying to guess the right number, wouldn't you, unless you were a safe cracker? Because there are so many combinations. Well, for 38 remedies, it's been worked out, 292 million combinations. Yeah. So even though back when he discovered them, they certainly didn't have COVID-19, didn't have the stresses that we've got today, but they did have their own stress. There was cholera going around, there would have been diphtheria going around, there would have been scarlet fever going around. People back in his day were having large families because so many children died. I mean, they weren't just, I mean, they did love them, but they died. Chickenpox was a killer, whooping cough, polio, all the things that we've had in the past bring about a state of shock and worry, that they were worried about the things that they had, the same worries that we had, they just had different things to worry about. He felt that the Bach remedies were the medicine of the future, and he felt that there was a new and better art of healing is upon us, he said in 1931. And some of you that are listening to this will have had experience of having a mixture made for you. And it is an art to get the right mixture, because you've got 38 to choose from and just 7, but you are going to learn how to put them together to help people. And that's an amazing thing to be able to do. And you're going to be able to help yourself, which is actually harder than helping someone else. But yeah, so I'll see you on the next video. Just got to find this one now. The next one probably be the worksheet that I'll go through with you. Hope you enjoy the worksheet. Don't think you've got to remember everything. You don't know the answers to it. Of course you don't. You're going to be looking to find the answers on the sheets that I've given you to find. Just fill it in and then I'll go over it with you. See you soon. Bye.